I'm recording, and I'm going to share my screen. Let me figure out how to do that. Looking for my all right, can everybody see that? Can everybody see that first screen?
Yep.
Perfect. All right. So the workshop was basically a additional information that I shared about pricing psychology. In the first one that was broadcast on FloatCon, we talked about perceived value and how to set your perceived value as a float center. And the biggest takeaway from that is your price sets the perceived value. There was one thing I kind of wanted to share that I didn't get able to at the conference. There was a study that was done, and researchers wanted to see the effect of price on perceived value. And so what they did is they got 2 bottles of wine, and these were very cheap bottles of wine, and they put a price tag next to one that said $10, and they put a price tag next to one that said $50. And they had a group of people come in and sample the wines, and they asked them, which one do you like? Why do you like it? And 9 out of 10 said they liked the $50 bottle of wine. So they got everybody's input. They shooed them out, brought in, they switched the price label. So now the other bottle became the $50 bottle of wine, and the first $50 wine became the $10 bottle of wine. And they brought in a second group, and they asked them, which bottle of wine is better? Which one do you like and why? And everybody chose the $50 bottle of wine. Why? Because of its $50 price point. It was perceived to be of higher quality and higher value. So something to take away, perceived value. That's an important thing in our industry and what we do. If we price our services too low, then we hurt that perceived value. And that's why your single session pricing should always be the most expensive thing that you offer. That's where your pricing starts. So this here is kind of the numbers I pulled up from my center. In June of 2021 is when we dropped our first time float, discounted first time float, discounted 3 float package. All that went away. So it was either full price sessions for single sessions, or it went to there was a smaller discounted price for packages, and we kept those around a 15% discount per session. And then our membership pricing, that was lower than that. And you can see there when you look at the number of new guests compared to new members, our conversion rate went up dramatically in the second half of 2021 just by getting rid of our first time session discount. We also increased our revenue for those people that didn't buy a membership, and in that case that was 616 guests, by $27,000. So not an insignificant amount of money there. And then looking at 2022, the same thing. So we went from converting 6% of our guests when our pricing was kind of all over the place, and it wasn't set up to kind of make the membership the natural choice. We were converting 6%. That's a lot of people you have to bring in to build your membership numbers. And once we fixed our pricing setup, it went to a much higher percentage because people naturally just gravitated to the membership. So price anchoring is a concept that we use to kind of set the value of our service. So kind of like perceived value, price anchoring is our starting point. For us, in the float business and in the wellness business, our price anchor is going to be the single session price. And what we found is that you want to set the price difference between your single session price and your lowest priced membership. So say they get one float a month for, say your single session is 99, then you would start your first 1 credit a month at 69. We found that $30 difference was enough for people to make a decision. Typically when it was $10 or $20 or they were really close to each other, people always just kind of had no, I'll just wait, or I'll come back next time. But we found that $30 difference was enough for them to go, wow, that's a significant price savings, cost savings. So I'm going to make that decision and become a member. In my location, we do it's a 3-month minimum commitment. We used to do a 2, but we found moving to a 3 lengthened the amount of time that people stayed with us. We went from about 4 months to about 8 months. I don't know the reason behind that, but we found that that's running about our average. Any questions on that so far? Okay. Pricing order. The order in which you display prices influences your client's perception of their value. So whether the value that think of it as how we read. We read from left to right. Our perception of numbers is something that is ingrained in our memories and in our minds, and how we perceive numbers from the time we are kids. Lower numbers come first. They're always on the left. Whether it's, if your price is $199, that 1 is the first number. So you're going to position your higher prices on the left side of your counter card. And here's an example. Here's the one I use in my facility. So this is what's on the counter. So after a session occurs and you come out of your float and you're all blissed out, this is where we're going to talk to you. This is what we're going to show you, what our membership options are like. You can see there. So we run a single session at 89. Our 1 credit a month starts at 59. Because we offer multiple modalities, we found that running credit equivalences, so you could use your credits how you want. You pay one price, you decide how you want to use your credits, right? Our unused credits roll over. You can share it with a second person, so that's good when you have like a husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever. Because how many of us have heard that excuse? Well, I need to talk to my wife, or I need to talk to my husband, or I need to. Well, hey, you guys can both use it. And then we give a 20% discount off extra sessions. So if you've used all your credits, you can come in and get a discount for additional sessions. And we found this to be a pretty popular option. Any questions? I would say a majority of the memberships we sell in our facilities are the 1 credit. For couples, it's either the 2 or 4. We used to have a different setup for the discount. The extra session discount used to be just a value, 49, 39, 15. We just found that it was difficult for the staff to remember and explain, and difficult for clients to really be able to understand. So we just went to a straight 20%. People get it. It kind of removes that barrier there. It's something they can easily understand and grasp. And I can't see. Let me see here. Add a couple more people here. Any questions on that? All right. All right, charm pricing. So charm pricing refers to the use of prices ending in the number 9. If you saw my price card there, everything ended in a 9. What psychology tells us is that when you use charm pricing, people perceived that the price was lower. So it's what's called the left digit effect. And so there was a study done, and they found that with charm pricing, items that ended in a 9 outsold rounded price points by 24%. So that's a huge number. I mean, imagine selling 24% of anything just because of that, because of the perceived value. MIT did a study where they found that clothing priced at 39 outsold identical items at 44 and 34. So stuff that was even cheaper. That left digit effect with that 9 had a huge change in overall sales. So pretty important use there, and we found that to be true. Any questions on anything so far? I don't see any hands up. Okay. Product bundle pricing. Product bundle pricing is when you offer multiple things for a single price. I'm going to go back here to my screen with my counter card on there. You'll notice up in the upper left we have the credit equivalency. So people are buying for one price, they're getting the ability to use multiple services, and they get to decide how they use those services. And I'll tell you, in my center, I have couples where one of them doesn't like to float, but the other one likes to do the sauna. So they'll use their credits. One will use it for a sauna, and the other one will float. Same thing with, I have, people that love to do red light, people that love to do compression. So this gives them really flexibility without additional cost. The other thing we do is when we run multiple modalities is we do packages where you can come in and do multiple modalities in one appointment. So like a sauna float. When we first put in our sauna, we set that up, and it's a 40-minute infrared sauna with a 60-minute float. When we first started that, we were doing between $7,000 and $10,000 a month just in that package. When we first started it, it was $99 for one person and $198 for two people. We recently upped that price to $225 for two people and $125 for one person. And what this does is this gives us flexibility in those times of the year. Say we want to run a special, then we will discount that package, and we're able to discount that down without discounting to a point where it removes our profit margin off of it. So if you have multiple modalities, either in your membership model, and your membership model should be a ton of benefits, right? This is the benefit of being a member. It should be obvious, like our packages are not shareable. If you buy a package, that's just for your personal use. That's a member benefit, right? Every benefit should be in your membership. So it makes your membership the obvious choice for clients because they're getting best price, best flexibility, they're getting access. Like if someone comes in and buy a float package, they can only use that to float. We don't allow them to switch those out for sauna sessions or any other session. It's nope, those are just float credits. That's all you can use them for. If you want to have that flexibility, our memberships provide that. You can use your credits however you want. So your membership model has to be the most flexible and the most benefits available. So that's product bundle pricing. So an important one, and we really found that when we started doing that, we kind of went to the credit model. Again, it just became an obvious choice for clients, and it was an easy sale. And we're very, I'm a firm believer in that. We build that rapport with the clients when they come in. We want to find out what's their why. Why are they coming in to float? What's their motivation? What are they looking for? So we try to find that, and then we kind of tailor their orientation process to that. And we show clients everything. So if you're coming in to float and my sauna is available, I'm going to take you in and show you the sauna, and I'm going to put you in the sauna because most people have never been in an infrared sauna. So it's a different their mindset is traditional saunas, steam saunas, hot rock saunas, and it's just physically hot, and they go, oh, it's miserable, I don't want to, and you put them in, they go, wow, this is really nice. So going in and showing them our red light unit, showing them our halo therapy, our beamer, our compression, and talking, hey, this is what our members get to do when they're a member, and using language that implies this is not their only and first visit. We use language like, when you come back next time, maybe you should try to do a sauna float, and kind of we're pre-setting that, kind of planting that seed in their subconscious about coming back and reusing our services. Any questions on that so far? All right. Oops. Analysis paralysis, also known as the paradox of choice. When you provide too many choices to a client, they often struggle to make a decision. So what research shows that in working memory, you can hold 7 ± 2 items. So if you notice my membership, my counter card, you have 3 options. That's your choices. Do I have other options? Yes. Excuse me. But we found by limiting choices, you increase the decisions. People are able to make decisions. Research backs this up. And there was a study done out of Colombia, and they took 24 jam flavors. I can't even imagine 24 flavors of jam. I'm a raspberry or blackberry preserves guy, but when they did that, only 3% of people went on to make a purchase. When there were so many options, they couldn't make a decision. But when they reduced it to 3, they increased it by 27%. So 30% went on to buy. So when you're talking to clients, and remember, they've just come out of session, they got float brain going on. This is something that by limiting their options, you're increasing their percentage that they're going to buy. Yep, go ahead, Jonathan.
A random question. Really wanted my crew to watch this, but they didn't really follow directions. Is it possible that you have a recording so I can make sure that they watch it afterwards, or is that something that maybe you'll do in the future?
Yeah, I'm recording it right now, so I'll have it. I'm gonna try to post it up on the Float Collective, or if it's too big, get it posted maybe to the FTA website or the FloatCon website, so that people can come back and watch it.
If you're willing to, we will post this on the FTA website.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'll make sure that happens. But yeah, thank you, Jesse. It's amazing information.
Yeah. Any other questions? All right. Some of the stuff it may be stuff you're already doing in your store, but you just didn't understand why it worked. I really went down the rabbit hole of learning this stuff during COVID when we were closed, and our business was really struggling. And if you saw the first presentation, I show you how our revenues were really in the toilet, and we had to make a change. And using this and bringing on additional services have made a tremendous difference in our business. All right, rule of 100. This is another important one, especially if you have multiple services or you have packages that are above or below $100. So a percentage discount off an item under $100, so that's important, under $100 will always look larger than the dollar discount. So even though they may be the same, so 25% off 75 appears larger than $18.75 off of 75. So that's an important fact. So the perception that I'm getting a better deal is going to drive clients to take advantage of that deal. And same thing, a dollar discount off an item over $100 will always look larger than the percentage discount. And again, all the stuff I'm showing you and talking about is backed up by research. There's a really good guy. His name is Nick Kolenda, Kohlenda. and you can sign up. He has a blog. He sends out kind of pricing psychology stuff and marketing psychology, and he's really good. And a lot of this stuff is stuff I've picked up from him, you know, and it works. So rule of 100, under $100, use a percentage, show the discount in a percentage format. Over $100, do it as a dollar discount. So even though the discount is the same, the perceived discount will be larger depending on where you are on the rule of 100. And that just kind of goes into what I already said there. Sales pricing display. So the way a discounted offer is displayed has an effect. So the size of your fonts, the colors, the size, all play a role. So let's go back to my counter card here. You'll notice that my pricing is the largest number, and then I do my I break down the cost per credit. It's smaller and in red. There's contrast there. So that helps drive some of the perception. The colors that we use. So we're looking to be calm and enticing. The blues, you know, if this was like bright yellow or something like that, you're going to be focused in, you know, it's going to affect the way you mentally perceive it. So the colors that you use, the size, the fonts, you know, we use, I think our stuff's all in Avenir is the font we use. So that stuff has an important role in perception and how your clients perceive your pricing. I apologize for clicking forward and back to show you something. So this would be good, like if you were running a, say you were running a special on a package, you know, you can say it was, you know, $125, now it's $99, you know, so people, and showing that the new price, the discounted price in a little bit of a smaller font and a different color, right? So that makes it stand out. And you can see there, displaying a discounted price in a smaller font to the original price leads customers to perceive more. They've made greater savings from the purchase. And this just goes back to the psychology and how we perceive numbers and size and value. These are all ingrained to all of us. It just happens naturally without thought, kind of in our subconscious. Any questions so far? All right. This is much different than the workshop, I have to say. I think I went over both times. I think the workshop was scheduled for 45 minutes and I went about an hour 10 because of the questions. So I think we're getting towards the end here. Setting your single session price. So this is kind of a formula I came up with to help you kind of determine, is my pricing right? And you can kind of play with this formula. And what it is it's price equals your fixed costs. So that would be like your lease, your loan, your payroll, your utilities, your marketing. What does it cost you each month to run your float center, divided by the total number of appointments you offer for floats. Now, I also offer sauna and a whole bunch of different things. I don't include them in this number because floats they take the most time, they cost the most to run, and I'm limited into the amount I can run, even though I have 5 rooms, so I can run more. And you can multiply that by 0.4, so 40%. And what that does is that kind of gives you a tentative, if I filled 40% of my appointments at single session price, I would cover, you know, ideally I should cover my costs. So if you ran them at $75, if your fixed costs were 30,000 and you can run 1,000 floats a month, if you filled 40% of them, you would cover your cost, and you'd have to run that at $75. So if you're already at 89, 99, you're above that, and you can adjust that percentage up or down. I would say if you run floats and massage, maybe you include those appointments together, since the time commitment and the price is going to be similar. But this is just kind of a generalized equation that I developed that really helped me, because you never want to be, I got to fill 100% of my appointments to fill my sessions up. You never want to be, you want to push that number down as low as possible so that you're covering your costs. Because that's, at the end of the day, we're all business people, and we don't want to be stressing, on the 29th, am I going to make enough money this month to cover everything? So by running that, you can run that down to 30%, 40%, 35%, just by changing out that 0.4 to 0.35, 0.3. And that'll kind of give you a gauge of where you should set your single session pricing. And then using that value of 30, set your single session, membership at that price. So something to think about, just so you know. And if your number, you come out and you do that calculation and your number is lower than that, raise your price, because that means you have to fill more appointments to break even. Maybe you got to fill 50 or 60 or 70, and you never want to be that, because that's a lot of appointments, depending on how big your center is and what you offer. Any questions on that? Okay. And if you look down at the bottom of the screen, there's a little hand. So if you do have a question, you just press the little hand thing, and then it gives me a little indicator that you have a question. All right. And like I said, if you fill with this, if you fill 40% of your appointments with single float sessions, you will cover your fixed cost. All right. Coming to the end. That was short and sweet, shorter than I thought it'd be. Any questions? All right. If you do come up with some questions later, all right, Fallon.
Hey, good evening, or what is it, afternoon where you are? Can you hear me?
Yeah, 12 o'clock
right,
in the afternoon.
Yeah, I'm calling in from the Netherlands, so it's a bit weird for me. It's evening here. But first of all, I wanted to thank you for telling us this. And we work with a little different numbers here in Holland, but it's still interesting to see the calculations. The question I have may not concern you right away, but I just saw that there was a conference going on this week, and I just wanted to know how busy is that, and is it worth for me to come from Holland to America next year, or is it not that big and not interesting enough?
To me, I would say that's a personal decision. Obviously, coming from Holland, that would be a great expense. I think this year they had about 220 attendees. And I know that's down from about 400 or so, over 400 that they had in the 2019 timeframe. So it's down, but we know here in the United States, a lot of float centers have closed. So whether that's just because of consolidation, or people are just, it's not, it is a little expensive to attend also. So that could be an issue also.
Yeah, right. Here in Holland, the number of float centers are growing, and so is the popularity. So
Nice.
we're in a completely different ballpark. I'm sorry, sometimes I have to think about my words because I don't speak English on a regular basis. So, but we're in another position here in Europe.
Nice. Well, no, your English is fine. It sounds perfect. Probably much better than my what do you guys speak? Dutch?
Dutch, yeah.
I don't know any Dutch, so your English is much better than my Dutch.
All right, thank you. But yeah, I can use the cost of the travel for deducted from the taxes. So it could be worth it. Only problem is it every year in August, because that's the school vacation from our children. So I'm kind of stuck with the children then.
Yeah, that's typically when they run it here, because in the at least the United States, that's kind of our slow time for float. So we're usually
Okay.
we're usually busy in the fall and winter and early spring, and then it slows way down in the summer.
All right, I understand. Well, I'm gonna keep an eye on the Facebook page and on the website, and perhaps, if possible, next year we might be coming to the USA. Then would
Nice.
be nice as a business trip.
There you go.
All right. Well, that was my question actually. So thank you very much. I'm gonna be in silent mode now.
Awesome. Thank you. Any other questions? Were there any? Does anybody have any questions? I'm assuming everyone here was either in attendance or saw the virtual when I talked about perceived value, and if there's questions on that too, happy to answer any questions. Nope. All right. Well, I'll get this over to Jonathan, and I'll go ahead.
I will throw in. I did a promotion many years ago, and the little flyers that were handed out in the community were misprinted, and we ran like $10 or $15 floats. You do not want $10 or $15 people in your center.
No.
And just kind of, and having been self-employed and done other marketing things, yes, if you mark things too low, people, you don't attract the right customers, and they don't feel that it's very valuable. I mean, yeah, you've got to, and there's people out there that do the whole marketing that everything has to be over $100. A grain of salt, you price it at $100, then people will rave to it. Well, I live in Southeast Iowa, and we have a little bit different idea here, but truly, yeah, where you price that point and your value,
yeah, I can tell you,
very important.
Here's something to keep in mind. Your single session price, when people go to make an appointment on your website or call you, they are making that appointment with the intent to pay that price. So if your single session price is $89 or $99, they've looked at the service, they've looked at the benefits, and they made a decision, I'm willing to pay $99 for that. So when they come in your store and you provide them an option to pay less, to become a member, and to continue to come do it, you're not discounting at that point. What you're doing is you're kind of offering them an exchange for commitment. You're offering them a better deal for their commitment. So you're not dropping the value of your service, because if they say no, then they're going to pay that higher price, and they plan to pay that higher price. And what we found when we dropped that first time float discount, it completely changed our the clients that came in. They weren't as price sensitive. They were willing to pay. They were nicer to the staff. They were more relaxed. It was just a whole different mindset of clients when they came in. So keep that in mind too. So you're changing who you're appealing to. You're changing to a group that is willing to pay that single session price when they make the appointment, because that's what they're willing to pay, and that's what they book on. So that's an important, perfect point, Amanda. I mean, it is tremendous. It made a huge difference in our business.
And I think when you offer that first session discount, and what I see is the coupon mentality. For a while, I would send out a monthly newsletter. People would float as soon as they got that newsletter and got their discount. And same thing with the misfortune of going with Groupon. People who were more than capable financially to float weekly would only float every 90 days, because that's when Groupon said you could have a new coupon. And so I think, teaching people to come in and create a float practice, using the memberships to reward people for their float practice.
Yeah. And that's the same thing we did. So we used to run discounted packages, and we found in months that we ran package discounts, we didn't sell any memberships that month. So we just realized we're cannibalizing our membership sales. So we never discount packages or memberships. And if I do something like, I'll offer, if you join this month, we'll throw in a complimentary sauna session or a complimentary some red light sessions or some other, but I never give away floats, and I don't discount, because my theory is it's already discounted. So why am I going to discount my discount? Right. So I'm not going to lower that price any further. for packages and the memberships. But I'm very hardcore, like nothing can compete with my membership pricing. Like nothing, no promotions we will do will compete with that.
I had a customer last year wanted to buy, he wanted to pay a year of membership ahead. And I said, no, I'm not giving you a discount. You're already getting the discount to have the member if you choose to pay it all at once. And then I said, and who's your wife? You know, and he told me her name. It's like, yeah, well, she floated with me 3 times 2 years ago, and you're going to buy her a whole year membership that's non-refundable. Go for it, honey.
Yeah.
I didn't say it quite like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Any other questions, comments? All right, thanks everybody. I'm gonna end the call now, and I'll get a copy of this over to Jonathan so he can get it posted on the FTA website. Awesome. Thanks everybody. Have a good rest of your day or evening if you're in Holland.